Alright, it is coffee time. Yes, please. Oh, well, good morning. If you're having a cup of coffee or tea, cheers. Here's to a wonderful day. That's the best way to start the day. Yep, delicious cup of coffee. The sun is out, shining. So hopefully it starts to warm up, hopefully. Yeah, Mr. Sun wasn't out for very much yesterday, so hopefully he stays out longer today. So if you watch yesterday's vlog, okay, you saw I went to the library. I got like, $3, and one of those books is very huge. I did not get to this one yet, but I'm hoping to get to this one and flip through her cookbook today. And I got Fred Rogers, okay. I love reading biographies. It's one of my favorite genres of books to read. I just love reading about people, what they went through, their hardships, the good times, the bad times, and seeing what they went through and how that shaped them to be the person they are today, or were back in the day if they're not with us anymore, like, Mr. Fred Rogers, and like Mr. Disney, with us, who we lost way too soon. Like, and that it's just, if he didn't smoke, he would probably still be with us at least a little bit longer, because he passed away of lung cancer, and it's like, if you didn't smoke, Disney, that's bad for you. But unfortunately, they didn't really know that back then. That was like, all new. I think that they were starting to figure that out, but yeah. So I was not expecting this one to be this wide. It's a dictionary, Like, I was expecting it to be like Fred Rogers right here. Yeah. So this is like two Fred Rogers put together, because it's chunky. Yeah. So there's 8 parts in here, and so far I got through the first part, and that's my progress right there. But there's 5 chapters in each part. Well, at least in part 1 anyways. There might be a little bit more, and the farther I go into the parts. But the first part had 5 chapters, so yeah. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, it's really good. You can kind of see why he did what he did with Disney, and you kind of understand, because he didn't really have a childhood. He really didn't. Now this was fascinating. So his family came from Normandy, and from Normandy to England, and then from England to Ireland, and then some of them went from Ireland to America, but they did not stay there long. The following year, they went to a township of Godridge in the wilderness of southwestern Ontario, Canada, just off Lake Huron, which is 3 hours away from me. Yeah, so that is just like so fun that his family had a connection. They stayed in Canada, and that was his great-grandfather, I believe. Yeah, and let's see, he built the area's first grist mill and sawmill, farmed his land because they bought 149 acres, and are you ready for this? Fathered 16, I repeat, 16 children. 16. Like, that just sounds like too much chaos for me, so I pass. I know, it's like, yeah, no thank you. That's just way too much. Yeah, and one of those kids was Walt Disney's dad, Elias. Yeah, and this was like in 1858. Yeah. And they moved around a lot. They didn't really stay in one spot for too long. So they were constantly moving. They moved to, like, I think Florida and New York, and just like all over, and never really staying put. They stayed longer in, it was Chicago and Kansas City. They stayed longer periods in there, in those cities. So Walt Disney had 3 older brothers, and he had a younger sister, and he was close with Roy because I think they were closer to age because his two older brothers, they were not as close in age, you know, so they didn't really have anything like in common. Like, you know what I mean? You know, like when there's like a really huge age gap. So he was closer to his brother Roy. Now, one of his favorite places that they stayed, and they weren't there for long, was in Missouri. It was a farmland, and his dad bought the farmland. Let me see. Yeah, oh, right here. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Marcellin, something like that. And yeah, and he loved it. Was the most important part of Walt's life, his wife would say. He didn't live there very long. He lived in Chicago and Kansas City much longer, but there was something about the farm that was very important to him. He would remember the family's arrival, clearly remember every detail of it, he later said. Yeah, it just had that effect on him. Yeah. Oh. Now, I say they didn't have a childhood because, well, he didn't, yeah, and probably all Disney kids didn't have a childhood, because Walt and Roy had paper routes, so they had to deliver paper routes before school, and then go to school for a few hours, and then deliver papers again in the evening. And when Roy graduated high school, and he got a job as a clerk, and Walt took over his route, so he had 2 paper routes to do. So he was constantly working. Like, he didn't have a day off. He was constantly working, Walt, at like the young age of like 8. And he never saw a dime of that hard work and money because his dad kept it. His dad wasn't really the nicest, you know how they, you know, might have been like back then, temper, and would go get a branch off the tree, you know, and he tried to do that one time with Walt when he was 14, but Walt was too strong for him, and that was like the first and last time he tried to do that with Walt, you know. Yeah, but it was those days, you know, that's what, yeah. But like Walt was just too strong for him. Yeah, but he never saw a dime because his dad took it. Yeah, took it. And he would invest it. Excuse me. Kermit. Oh, one sec. Excuse me, Kermit the Frog. He's just mad at me ate Miss Piggy last night. We finished the pork chops last night, and they were the best tasting pork chops, breaded pork chops that I've ever made, hands down. They were so good. With the cracker breadcrumbs and the onion soup mix and the spices. So good. I'm definitely going to be doing that more often, making pork chops like that more often, because they were really good. Yeah, even better the second night for leftovers. Yeah. So yeah, back to Walt. So yeah, he would deliver extra papers without his dad knowing, so he could keep the money, and then he would sell candy at a pharmacy when it was recess at school, so he can pocket that money. So yeah, so that's why, you know, yeah, he didn't really have a childhood. No, he was like working, and his dad would take the money and invest it in stocks, you know. And then Walt started to draw. He started to draw, and he got praise and encouragement from his aunt. So of course that, you know, made him want to draw more. And his dad saw that as nonsense. You know, his dad wanted to have him get like a real job, and he wanted him to get a job at a jelly a jelly factory. You know, he wanted him to, you know, to get a job like that, but Walt, you know, he didn't want to. Yeah, he drew that really, really good. Yeah, and So yeah, he kept drawing because he's okay. So he was going to be an actor or an artist. Those were the two options that he wanted to be. And he said it seemed easier to get a job as an artist, he decided. So 17-year-old Walt Disney, newly armed with confidence and determined to avoid his father's fate, the joyfulness and the content disappointment, would do what the Disneys has always done. He would pursue his opportunity. He would escape, which is why this first part was called Escape. Yeah, his dad saw that's nonsense, you know. But little did he know that him starting to draw would lead him to draw a certain mouse that we all know and love. Yeah, it's so fascinating. I just love reading these. I really do. Yeah. I like his older brothers when they, because like his dad's brother and him, they kind of had that competition relationship, you know, to see who got the better of whatever, okay, like the better house, the better property, you know, they're always in competition. And his brother had farmland, and the two older boys were offered to farm wheat on their uncle's farm, right, and make some money out of that. And that's what they did. So that's where his two older brothers went. But his dad was like, oh, what are you going to do when they can spend the money? And like one said, okay, like a pocket watch, and he didn't like that answer, you know. Yeah, he's like, you know, if you're going to make money, that don't spend it on nonsense stuff like that, you know. So you have you know, invest it or something, you know, like save it, right? Yeah, and he wanted them to, the money that they made, he wanted them to help pay off what he owed on his property, because he still owed money when he bought it. He still owed money, and it's like, that's not up to them to pay for the land that you don't have money. That's up to you. Like, but they didn't. Yeah. I forget where it was. I have to read it because this was so funny. Let me see if I find it. Oh, I forget what page. I need to get those sticky tabs. I had some. I don't know if I still have them. Oh, here. Okay. Okay, this was funny. Okay. Years later, the Disneys would also frequently recall another episode in Walt's budding artistic career that they believed testified to his obsession. One summer's day, Flora and Alice, his parents, had gone to town, leaving Walt and Ruth, his younger sister, at the house. As Ruth told it, they began investigating the rain barrels around the house and discovered the barrel's tar lining. Walt announced that the soft tar could be used as paint, and when Ruth, out of caution, asked whether it would come off, he assured her that it could. So the two found big sticks, dipped them in the tar, and began drawing designs on the side of the Disney's whitewashed house. And I can remember an awful feeling, Ruth would say, when I realized just a little bit later that it wouldn't budge, the tar. The parents were not amused. He was old enough to know better. Floor snipped 30 years later. The tar still adorned the side of the house when the Disneys moved away. The first memorial to Walt Disney's art. That's just hilarious. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, it's funny. Oh my gosh, not for the parents, so, but reading it was funny. Yeah, okay. Alright, so yeah, I'm on part 2. Let's see. Oh yeah, hope I can get through this part, which is titled Go Better. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, I can handle that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so he did really good, and like, yeah, you can see he didn't really have a childhood. He didn't play like the other kids. He didn't. He was too busy delivering papers. Yeah. But yeah, it's really good. Really good, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna drink my coffee and we're gonna make cheesecake later on, and yeah, we'll get, I'm gonna take out the cheesecake right now so it can come to room temperature. Good idea. Alright, so it is about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and if we want to have this cherry cheesecake dessert for tonight, we have to bake it now because it has to sit in the fridge for 1 to 2 hours or overnight. So it is a cherry delight dessert, and that's what it looks like. Really, really good. So I have the graham cracker, the crust, cooking in the oven right now. 2 minutes and that will be done, and then that can cool. So 9x9 baking pan, but you can always double this recipe because I think my mom used a little bit of a bigger pan. So because we had this Easter and it was really, really good, and Casey said, you know, can you make this? And it's like, okay. So I got the recipe from my mom. So yeah, about 1 1/3 cup of graham crackers crushed, 1/4 cup of melted butter, and a tablespoon of sugar, and mix that, put it on the bottom of your pan, and you spread it and bake it. I have it in there for 7 minutes at 375. And then we mix the Dream Whip, which is 2 cups and half a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 1/2 package of cream cheese softened. I have a cream cheese that's been out, and I did have some from my mom that I had to use because I ran out of cream cheese. I had to go get some yesterday. But we seem to use the rest of that, so we're just gonna use 1. But she did say, my mom, that you 1 is enough. Like, you could get by with just 1, yeah. And 28-ounce can of cherry pie filling. Mine is not 28 ounce. I think it's 19 ounces. Yeah, it is 19, but it's big enough. It will do. Alright, so let's mix that, beat everything together, and we'll get this in the fridge to cool ASAP. So as soon as I finished that clip, the oven went beep, so we're all done. I'm going to put it on top of the toaster oven so it can cool, and we will do the rest. So yeah, 2 cups of whipped topping, or you can make your own from the package. This will be close to 2 cups. Yeah, close enough. It will be close enough. Yeah, might not be exactly 2 cups, but we'll make it work. Okay, and I got the cream cheese. So I read the part 2 of Walt Disney book. There's actually 11 parts. There's 11. I think I said 8 when I started the vlog, but there's actually 11. I just didn't turn over the page. There were a few more. I was like, oh, there's 11. Okay, and that's why it's such a chunky book. Yeah, but it's really good. He started his own studio with other artists, and like his goal was always to get a comic, like a comic strip, a cartoon strip in the paper, until like he discovered animation and fell in love with animation. He was just so fascinated by it. Yeah, and when because he was setting up his business, he had money, okay, back home in the bank, and he asked his parents to send it to him, and of course, you know, they said, oh, why do you need this? What's this for? What are you going to use it for? I know it's probably more his dad than his mom. And he told them, you know, and he eventually did get the money, but after going back and forth with letters. But yeah, it's like, and he did tell them, you know, it is my money, I can do with it what I want, you know, but yeah. All right, so I have a half teaspoon of vanilla in there, and I'm going to mix it, and I think my graham cracker crust is nice and cool, so we can put it all together and toss it in the fridge. Okay. I think that's about alright. Might be more cream cheese than Cool Whip, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Because I'm not going out to get it today. Because I'll be there tomorrow. Go. Yeah, it's definitely more cream cheese than Cool Whip. That was probably like a cup and a half maybe, or a cup and a quarter of Cool Whip. But that's okay. It will work. It'll still be delicious. Yep. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, dump that on. Ho 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 ho. That looks good. Okay, so he'll be happy with this when he comes home. Can't remember if Henry ate it. I'm not sure. I think he did. There. Okay, I'm gonna put some saran wrap over it, and it will go in the oven. I mean fridge. The fridge. One of those appliances, you know, whichever one keeps it cold. Alright, so the boys are gonna be home pretty soon. But I want to mention about, remember I did a Dollar Tree haul on Sunday and I got the watermelon and pineapple bowls. They're perfect for snacks. When the boys came home yesterday from school, they had their chips in there, their Cheetos in there. They're perfect size for that, and in the pineapple one. And later that night, I posted a picture on Instagram this morning. I had the watermelon bowl with apples and peanut butter, and it was a perfect size. The hubby went to Sobeys to pick up some sushi. Yum, love sushi. And Casey also loves sushi, so look at that. It's perfect for 5 little pieces of sushi. Yeah, he loves sushi, Henry doesn't, but the rest of us loves sushi. But it has gone up at Sobeys. We usually buy the boat because that gives us enough, because we usually, I don't know, because it is filling. At least I find it filling. We usually have like around 5 or 6, and the boat is like just enough for 3 of us, but that's like $13.49. I'm like, what? I thought it was around $10, so it definitely has, you know, gone up. So, but we haven't had it in a long time. I can't remember last time we got sushi from Sobeys, and it was really good. And yeah. Casey better hurry up and come home and eat these, yeah, or they won't be here. They'll be poof gone. Yeah, yeah. So that's for him. He will like that little treat, and yeah, and then he'll also like the cherry dessert. And looking forward to digging into that. Just give me a fork, really. Just give me a fork. Like, that's all I need. You know, like a fork. Yeah, with cheesecake. Yeah, just give me a fork. Wow, now that's more like spring. It's nice out here. I brought dessert outside. Casey gave it 2 thumbs up. He approves. It's delicious, he says. Yeah, if I was going to take a bite, I already know it tastes good because after an hour of putting in the fridge, I got impatient and I took a little bite from the corner. Yeah. You know, I had to test it to make sure that it was good. Yeah, I'm just doing what anybody else would do. Yeah. I'm the taste tester. Yeah. And it is good. Cheers. If cheesecake is on the menu for dessert, I'm there. It's so good. So I'm going to enjoy every single bite. It will not last long like anything else in this house that's delicious and yummy. It just goes poof, it disappears. But I'm going to enjoy it while I can and just enjoy a little bit of fresh air. Oh, my book, my Disney book, I am on part 4, and part 4 is a famous mouse that we all know. Yes, it's all about Mickey Mouse. Oh my gosh, like, he started his business, okay, and his like studio, and then ran out of money, and then he went to California and started, you know, business over there, and started working on Alice in Wonderland, a movie, and then like he somebody asked him to like come up with a cartoon character, a rabbit cartoon character, because there were too many cat cartoon characters, I guess, so they want like a rabbit, and so he comes up with Oswald. And so like it's so hard to like he went through a lot, you know, and this is what made him who he is, who he was. This is, you know, you guys hear that? Yes? You gonna come outside? Come on. Come on. Yeah, well, come on, the door's open. Come on. Yeah, come on. I'll just, you know, stand here and hold it open because I got nothing better to do. Come on. It's nice out. Yeah. Yeah, so he draws Oswald, and oh no, as soon as I went to close the door, she went back in. And he had like, you know, employees that left him, that he felt that betrayed him, and another big shot guy betrayed him and said that, oh, Oswald doesn't belong to you. Yeah, so he didn't give him the rights to Oswald, and that really made him, you know, yeah, like, it would make anybody upset. Okay? No, oh my gosh, Lois, I need a revolving door put here, please. Because as soon as you move it, yeah, she just goes back in. Thank goodness. Alright, yeah, so it was like, just like, you know, it was, yeah, hard, and there was a movie one time about Disney, and I remember that, and it was just like, wow, you know, he went through a lot, but that's what shaped him into who he became. And and he did Mickey Mouse, so he probably said, oh yeah, go ahead, you can have Oswald, you know, I have something better, so you know, at least that's what I would do. Yeah, anyways, yeah, but so it's really good. I'm on the 4th part, and yeah, I'll probably read that tomorrow. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys next fun video. Take care, be blessed, and as always, ta-ta for now, bye!